All right. So,
I brought a second microphone just in case we need it extra recorded.
in case you blow out the first one,
No, this is a powerful one, but this is just a backup.
so is your voice.
Hey,
Anyway, okay. Um,
welcome back to Music Mondays,
it's
number
my line.
3.
It's my line.
I'm interrupting the show to invite people to pay attention to our guest on the show, Mr. Cal Foti, the legend of the Brews Roundtable podcast. Welcome to the show, sir. Welcome to the show. Right, Abram? Give him a hand.
Yes.
I know you want to clap.
I listen to the podcast even though I don't drink beer because I'm underage.
It's a waste of time to drink. Don't listen to those people who drink. They're losers.
As you take a sip. So
I know, yeah, seriously.
This is maple syrup.
iced
I'm
maple
an
syrup.
avid Vermont
Are you
enthusiast.
Canadian?
No, I would like to.
I think Sam just classified himself as Canadian.
Yeah.
Be.
He dresses
Dang.
like a Canadian too. So we're here.
What is that supposed to mean?
We're just gonna move on by. So we're here. We're having a little bit of auditory or whatever issues on some people's ends. I think everybody can hear loud and clear, but unfortunately, if you're wondering if something's going on with the video on your end watching this, it's probably not. Cal said he's had a bit of issues with his camera or maybe the computer, so we're not sure. Bear with us. It's scuffed as always, as you guys know, but I know the last time, if you actually are an avid listener of this, which is shocking to me if you are, we left off on the idea that we finished up talking about Led Zeppelin, and we were gonna go into Stadium Arcadium from Red Hot Chili Peppers. But, unfortunately, some news hit all of us in the music community that Eddie Van Halen died, which, depending on how much you know about him and the influence, I mean, we'll get into all of it, but for the three of us, he was quite an influential guitarist at the very least, and at the most is responsible for making quite a bit of pretty amazing music. So we decided, Cal sort of suggested as well, that if we ended up talking about Van Halen in the future, he'd want to come on and talk about it. And we decided that we should probably just take the opportunity while the memory's still fresh in everyone's minds to talk about probably the most well-known Van Halen album, which is 1984. And yeah, so that's
Is
what we're
that
here
really
for.
the most known one?
I would say it probably is. I mean, the hit songs are off of that one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Jump
true.
is probably their biggest tune, and that's like a big hit off of that
Yeah.
record.
All right, so let's jump right into this conversation, ladies and
Well, I
gentlemen.
think we should probably, like, if we want to handle this in an, I don't know, but I feel like, Cal, you probably have the most, I don't know, from Sam's experience, but I know for me that you probably have more of an emotional attachment to it than I do. I mean, I love the album, but I think you probably have the most, like, feeling behind what you think about it.
Yeah, honestly, man, it's not so much the album as it was himself.
Mhm.
Like you said, like it's a great album, and I love their music, but it was the way that Eddie Van Halen went about everything. Just like the things, it's just the people that decided to, instead of what everybody else is doing on guitar, let's just do whatever the heck. I think, like, it's just the innovation, you know, the random, like, hey, I wonder what would happen if I turned all the knobs on my guitar amp up to 10, like full volume. Like, I wonder how that would sound. Or like putting random parts in my Stratocaster. And he invented tapping, like guitar tapping.
Yeah.
Like, people have taken it bounds and leaps ahead of him now, but like he was the one that invented that whole style. Like, when Eruption was like first became a thing, that was like, whoa, what the heck is he doing?
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. I think he could be categorized as an experimental person or artist because of just how much he tinkered with stuff and tried to make whatever he was doing uniquely his. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the selection of doing 1984 may not be like the best example of him doing all that kind of thing, but it's still like,
It's still definitely there, man.
yeah, no, it definitely is. Yeah.
There are a few really decent, like, progressive songs on this record too. Like,
Yeah.
like Top Jimmy, very progressive. I'll Wait, very very different, like kind of a ballad sort of thing.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like as far as like the rip and solos go from this record, Jump, uh, House of Pain was great. Hot for Teacher, obviously. It's like just the entire album is fantastic. Every aspect about this record is like there's at least a piece of it in some people's minds. There's not a time where someone in their life hasn't heard Hot for Teacher on the radio. Like it's been on the radio
Oh
for
yeah.
that long. It's become part of like the pinnacle of songs, that plays on the radio every single day.
No, yeah, I
Every
agree.
single day. I can tell you at work, it's always on.
Any party that you go to, they're always gonna play Jump. Any like if you ever like have gone roller skating or anything like that, they're always playing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Does it look like
Especially
I can
Hot
fit in
for
roller
Teacher.
skates, Cal?
Yeah, dude. Look like a roller skating
Look,
champ.
you don't have to bring the fat jokes. Oh man.
Sorry, guys.
You don't have to look like anything to do it,
True.
sir.
That's right.
So
Just look at Chris Farley.
I feel personally, I mean, obviously it's in the name, but I feel like when you listen to, I don't know how true to life it is because obviously I didn't live back then, but 1984 as an album to me feels like everybody's memory of what the 80s was like. Like the sound of it, the absolute, like, just like over the topness of how just to the max all of the music sounded, to me feels like how everybody reminisces about the 80s, how media portrays the 80s now. And listening to songs like, especially Panama to me, like,
oh, man.
that
Great
song to me sounds like more like the 80s than anything that people try and like replicate. And it's, I don't know, I love that song, specifically that one, but the whole thing is so good. Yeah.
For sure. And you know what?
Yeah, I mean it.
Go ahead, Cal. My bad.
Go ahead, Sam. Oh, okay. I was just gonna say the thing is, man, and it goes back to my point of the fact that if you took Eddie Van Halen out of the equation and just threw in anybody else, it would just be another 80s hair metal band.
Yeah.
I mean, like the guy. What the heck is the guy's name? The voice, the singer.
Oh, was it David Lee Roth? No, it's not.
David Lee
He's-
Roth.
Is it David Lee Roth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this album.
he's definitely got like something special for sure. But you take Van Halen out of the equation, and it's definitely not the same thing.
No, I
No.
agree.
But it's
Yeah,
definitely
this-
still.
Yeah, this
Just
guy
that
tried to go
hair
on
metal.
tour by himself. David Lee Roth. I don't know if you ever seen his little trick or treat videos now in 2020. Okay, but this guy tried to go on tour without Van Halen. Okay, it was not even close to correct. Okay, it's like, listen, Dave, you're going on stage. You're 105. We have to get you a walker to even bring you out there. It's like, don't even try. Just sit in a chair like normal people do. Before Bill Cosby people, he literally would sit
Oh
in
my
his chair
gosh.
and just do his act. It's like, Dave,
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
you got to do.
Why?
You just got to do.
Wait, hold
Why
on.
would you even?
Just saying.
Why are you
I
comparing
I
them?
noticed these things. Like I used to watch his specials, and Cosby would just sit in the chair with a
Okay,
little
that's-
headset and like some water.
Bro,
Hit the timeout. Hold on.
time
I'm
out.
just saying, that's
Pause.
what he
Pause.
did. When you get
Pause.
older,
Pause.
when you get older, you can't move around the stage like that. Did you ever watch the Kimmel accident when he like fell off the stage and really, really hurt himself? This was only a few years ago.
I
people.
thought he I thought he just whacked his nose or something like that
No,
with the
no,
microphone stand.
he got in a serious injury. Okay, you guys try and undo my wrongs here, and I'm going to research it.
Okay, everybody, let's talk about
There's
Van
no
Halen
undoing
and not
that.
Bill Cosby.
You just said that.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
remember.
My gosh.
I don't remember
Wait,
what I said.
sorry, Cleb. What are you researching right now?
I'm researching his injury.
Who's?
David Lee Roth injured
the
himself.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay, listen. David Lee Roth injured himself during the first take of Van Halen's live performance for Jimmy Kimmel Live on Monday night, which was like back a while ago. The band was on the show to celebrate today's release of their new album, Tokyo Dome Live, in concert. And during the first take of the opening number, Panama, Roth cut his nose on the microphone. He
See?
exited the stage, exited the stage, got patched up and returned. I can't read. And the band could rock out for all 8 songs. Okay, so he did just cut his nose. My apologies. I thought he hurt himself real bad.
Yeah.
Because there
He
was
whacked
video.
his nose with the microphone stand.
Well, there was video. I thought he
And
like
then-
actually
and then
fell
he-
off the stage.
Hey guys, let's talk.
No. He like whacked his
Let's talk about the album,
he
dude.
whacked his nose with Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
really good. Yeah.
My apologies.
So
Anyway, Van Halen, guys. What do you guys think about Jump as a song? Because it's obviously like the biggest song off of it. But
It's become like a meme lately. Have you seen that video where the cat is like just leaning on the one key, and then the guy comes in and does the doot 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 doot. It's pretty cool, and I think that like it's stuff like that sort of brings bands back. Like the video recently of this guy listening to Stevie Nicks,
mm,
Fleetwood Mac, and drinking like the
are you talking about the guy on the longboard?
the guy in the
like, rolling?
the guy in the longboard. Yeah, like, and now that song's like at the top of the charts again.
Yeah.
So it's like
Oh.
memes like that sort of bring back old music like that and just sort of still make it great.
Yeah. No, it's good. This song to me is a little weird because it's it's inspired by something super dark, but it's not about it. It's about a guy trying to get a girl to enter into a relationship with him. But it stems, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys know that it stems from suicide jumpers, but it is. And it's a weird metaphor. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was weird in that it worked, but it was also like a very dark way to explain something or to use as a metaphor, but I don't know. What do you guys think about this song as a whole?
I would say overplayed. But like sonically, it definitely like putting all judgments aside, it presents a certain feeling
Yeah.
that like lyrically not thinking about what the lyrics mean, but like just listening to it sonically, it definitely gives you a certain vibe. It's definitely a good place to start the album,
Yeah, no, I would agree.
in my opinion.
It's definitely overplayed. I would agree with that as well. But yeah, I think that's why it's still so popular is because of just the way it sounds is so triumphant that people are like, yeah, this song's
Yeah,
epic.
that synth sound won't be forgotten. Or if it is, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. It's definitely like
The
something
the
that
thing of-
is like it's definitely just one of the top 5 songs that Van Halen probably has ever written, and will never go away. It's like when we were talking about Led Zeppelin on the last podcast, we had said that Immigrant Song, which is now in like a lot of different movies, which is amazing because if you know anything about Led Zeppelin, they don't really allow their songs to be put into different things. So it's like kind of really special for that kind of thing to happen. And I feel like Jump is definitely one of those songs.
What were you saying, Cal?
Yeah. I was just gonna say the thing about this album is they hit you hard with like the first. I mean, with the style, it's very fast-paced music, but it doesn't really like slow down for a while.
No, you're right.
Like pretty much until I'll wait. It's like it's just boom, 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 boom. Especially like Hot for Teacher, you hear that like when that. But after that, I'll wait is kind of the nice ballad in between. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it definitely like hits you hard.
This is one of
That's a good
those
one.
albums that is like all killer, no filler type deal. Like there's no dead weight on the album. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel personally that for a while, and I'm guilty of this even in my own music, but I feel like a lot of people sometimes feel like they're trying to make an album an experience, and so they'll fill it with little detours and like short clips and skits and different things and just try and fill out a length of time. But
Yeah.
when you're capable of making, for in this case it's 9 songs, but it's the same thing with Led Zeppelin. There was a mindset in earlier years making music that you try and make hit songs, and that was really like your goal. And so you didn't have room to mess around with trying to make somebody enjoy an experience. I mean, there were obviously bands that were doing that, like obviously The Wall had come out by now, so Pink Floyd was dabbling in that. But in like big popular band type of album creation, they weren't really doing that, and it works super well on this album because there's nothing that is not meant to be there that was like perfected on their end to try and
It's
release
interesting
it.
that you say that about like trying to fill, because like I was just listening to a hip hop album just recently, one that came out, and he has like 3 skits on there just to like fill in the space.
Yeah,
And it's so strange. It's like, and I know that that's normal for the hip hop world, but it's definitely interesting to see how more digestible 9 really solid songs are,
yeah.
especially with this album. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just I love that kind of thing, especially 9 songs is digestible, 10 songs is good. When you go for like 20 or 30, it's like okay,
yeah. No,
this is gonna take me years
But
to
here's
digest.
here's the thing: we're talking about two different types of music, though,
that's true.
because this style, of like the '80s hair metal, that kind of like just rock and roll. It, there, if they made it into an experience, or like say they're trying to tell this very long story with all these little interludes in between, you'd probably get really, really bored.
No,
To be
I would
honest,
agree. I would
'cause
agree.
it would get all like kind of mixed in and all sound the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think you do have a point about it being a different genre, but I would say too. I mean, like I said, I'm guilty of making these detours and things and trying to fill out. I think sometimes it's not only trying to fill out a a time bracket, but also trying to fill out a thought process. Like I think sometimes people feel the need. I know in my case, I sort of felt the need to try and explain why I was making what I was making, and so it took me more as a sort of uh what's the word? It's not an explanation, but like a
Fortuitous.
no. No. Um
Sorry.
an excuse. The excuse I used, that's the word. The excuse I was using was that it might be hard to
Wait,
understand where I'm coming from. Go ahead.
Sam, do you even know what that word means?
I do. It means things or events happening by
Fortuitous.
chance.
Oh, come on.
He says fortuitous so much that he has had to figure out what it means.
You're
No, sorry,
welcome.
I just,
I'm sorry that I'm smarter than both of you. Goodbye.
no, it's all
Oh,
good.
come on.
It's all good. We know that.
Go pay your taxes, Sam.
What?
What was I saying? I forget. No, okay. The idea that you are like your whole long track list. I think if I can give anybody advice, if
I would like to hear it.
if I may be so bold, if you could try and compartmentalize all of what you want to say, like obviously they had pretty clear writing ideas when they were making these songs. Most hit songs, if you're trying to go for that sort of thing, have a pretty plain idea and they work within the confines of whatever they're doing and then they'll release that. And that's sort of hard to explain, but what I'm trying to say is if you try and gather up all of the information that you want to say under one song and don't try and parcel it out into like say a 4-minute track and then a 1-minute clip and then a skit on top of it all to try and explain your thought process, if you can get all of that in to a more creative and well thought out song, then people are going to be much more likely to listen to one track that's 5 minutes as opposed to like a 4-minute song, a minute long skit, like another clip after that, and then like a little interlude or something afterward. So if overall the point I'm trying to make is if you can try and make it more concise, you should probably, as well as just like trimming all the fat around what you're thinking and getting it right down to like the meat of what you want to say, because that's what they were doing. Is like overall all these songs aren't like breaking creativity, like whoa, this is a stellar new thing we've never heard before, but they're so well known, especially like the super catchy ones like Jump and Panama, because you can't deny they're just really well made and there's nothing there that's like fluff. It's all just really well done.
I think there comes a happy medium between like staying on message, but also like what we were talking about earlier is trying to write a hit song. Like I've sat for hours just thinking, like, and it's so hard for me to come up with material. Like there are guys that can write songs in like just minutes and just like pump them out like it's pancakes. It's like I can't do that. I literally have to sit on a song and be like, okay, what does this actually mean? How am I going to put all this together? It's like a chemistry set.
Yeah.
And I'm not that smart anyway, so it's hard for me to figure everything out like right away. So it like definitely coming to understand why there are a certain amount of tracks, especially on like this record right here, which is phenomenal, is it's very interesting to see their writing process.
No, I agree.
Well, here's the thing too, man. Is what's
Look,
funny?
Here's the deal.
My God.
Oh my God. You know, look.
I'm sorry.
Here's the deal.
Look, here's the deal. Nope, lost it. Sorry.
You're gonna make me lose it.
You're gonna make him lose it.
I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done.
No. So here's the thing. When all these bands back then were writing songs or albums, like pretty much any album that was written before the internet was a thing, people didn't just pick and choose the songs they wanted to listen to. They put on an album and they listened to it front to back.
Yeah.
People don't do that anymore.
No, they really don't.
What's funny about that is now we're in the generation of every artist thinks they need to put all these weird interludes to try to tell a story, which personally I really enjoy. But they don't get no album gets the attention that it should front to back ever.
That's true. No, actually, you make a really
But I mean, it depends on the artist too, though. Like, and just what kind of following they have. Like when a pop artist, I'll just take for instance Ariana Grande makes an album. Only her true fans are going to listen to it front to back, but the other 5 million people that like that one song are just going to listen to that one song.
No, you're right.
Oh,
but same clap, of course.
I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
Don't lie. You're a closet Ariana Grande fan.
Closet Grande fan. I go to Starbucks all the time. and order one of those. It's my favorite, and I cherish it. Yeah.
No, I think you make a really good point. Is
No, no, no.
that yeah? No, go ahead, Tash.
But,
Sorry.
but yes, so but it depends on the artist. So if you get like a really tight knit hip hop community, you got an album like Kendrick Lamar, "Good Kid, Mad City." Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like that is an amazing album to listen to front to back because it tells his childhood story pretty
Yeah.
much. You know.
No, you're right. Yeah. I think too some people are capable of taking a lot of time and making it all interesting. And some people are much better at writing
Yeah.
shorter, sweeter, catchier little songs. But the point that you make of like people aren't giving full albums credit that they should like listen to front to back, you're absolutely right. Like I don't know, if you think about trying to make it in mind, like make a piece of music in mind to like go onto vinyl, like this kind of thing where you just like from front to back you want it to be just a listening experience. I think you
Yeah.
could be setting yourself up for doing something maybe more difficult, but also something pretty that's I don't know, like not something people focus on right now. Like if you focus on making an experience from front to back, then you may have a lot more interesting like material, and less so maybe less material as well.
It's so interesting to read like what these songs mean. Like I was just researching it while you guys were talking about that. Like Panama is talking about a car, the Panama Express, and I'll Wait is talking about a girl who would wear like Calvin Klein clothing, and it was like a cardboard cutout that David Lee Roth had. It's like just stuff that's like it seems meaningless at the time, like when you read it, but then when the song comes out, it's like, wow, this is really that means something different. It's just interesting to see how like it's interpreted in to different people. Like when I hear a song like "I'll Wait," I'm like, man, this guy really is like holding out on this one chick, and he's ready to give it all up. But that's like reading what it actually means. It's like, oh, I was way off.
It's weird.
Okay, well,
it's
sorry.
it's funny, but at the same time, it's like okay, that's so Van Halen. Like it just makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, yeah, I
Just
agree.
with the personality, like you listen like Hot for Teacher, and it's like, whoa, what's the teacher gonna look like this year? All that kind of stuff, and it's like, okay,
I
yep,
brought
that
my
totally fits.
pizza. Okay, Dave, relax. You might stab your eye with it or
Give me
break your
something to
nose.
write on.
Give me something to write on. Yeah. No, it's funny to think that we're really never gonna get another rock solid Van Halen album again. It's never gonna happen. It's just really hard to believe.
You know, about that, I would say that it is sad that you won't get something like that again. But to be perfectly honest, whether this sounds negative or positive or whatever, Van Halen exists to me in a time where that was like. I mean, I wasn't there back then, of course, but I can't imagine that this music didn't dominate what people were listening to for a time, you know? When something like, I mean, obviously they had other albums, but when something like 1984 comes out and people are talking about it now, when it came out then, it had to have been huge. But it also, to me, seems like something that couldn't have come at another time. And they're so good at what they did then that for them to try and make something nowadays, I feel like they wouldn't be able to pull off something that would capture what they had then if they tried to do it in the same style. And I don't know if their talent would bring them to doing something as interesting in a different genre or different style now either. So it's sad that there isn't more music like that from them specifically, but it's almost I almost kind
It
of
fits into
appreciate,
its
yeah,
own niche category.
yeah, and I kind of appreciate that they didn't attempt to try and make something that would have come off as not as good. You know, they just knew sort of. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, really, you're talking about two different bands. Yeah, you had the same people in there, but Van Hagar and Van Halen is a completely different category of music.
Yeah,
It's like you cannot tell me that it is the same basis and foundation. It's not. It completely flipped the script when Sammy Hagar came in and when David Lee Roth was starting with the band. So, I mean, you got to remember it was a completely different time. They weren't just talking about love. They were talking about things that were just interesting to them. Whereas Sammy Hagar's songs, I mean, and you could look this up, that like when Rogan interviewed David Lee Roth, he even said the same thing, is that a lot of his songs are just mostly about love. And they weren't kids anymore. They were more adults and trying to write about things that mattered to them at that time. But when you look at 1984, it's just like, okay, well, let's just go wild and out crazy.
yeah.
So big difference.
Yeah.
There's a quote from Eddie Van Halen about his solo on Hot for Teacher, and he says, "Yeah, I winged that one." If
Are
you
you serious?
if you listen to it, the timing changes in the
He
middle
really
of
does.
nowhere. Yeah,
Oh my word!
he
Can you
says
imagine being that
That's
intelligent?
he wings
it's unbelievable.
he wings most of his solos, man. Like the Michael Jackson "Beat It" solo. He just walked into the studio and kind of came up with something, and then
That's
was like,
unbelievable.
"All right, let's do it."
Yeah,
Same with the song. Oh no, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. Never mind.
What's
Was it Stevie Ray Vaughan that played on the Prince that one Prince song in the solo, or was it Eddie Van Halen too?
I don't know.
There's a Prince song with either Stevie Ray Vaughan or Eddie Van Halen.
I mean, either one of them would have done an excellent job. They're both super good.
It's such a shame.
different,
Like
very different.
Stevie Ray Vaughan was just like another element, and people feel that same way about Eddie Van Halen too, because you're never gonna find a guy that can play like that. You never will. Everyone has their own unique style that they bring to the table, and whether you're a singer or whether you're a drummer or a bass guitar player, whatever, you bring.
The thing is,
the thing about having a band.
The thing is, like, most guitar players have surpassed, like, most famous guitar players that you think of now have probably surpassed his ability of guitar, like on a technical side of things. But the fact is he was the pioneer of so many different things that now another generation of artists took and they made it their own thing, and then another generation of artists took that generation of artists and them made it their own thing, and that's what brings us to the guys that we look up to now.
Yeah, and you're gonna be hard pressed to find somebody in the music world of our generation that goes, I don't think I'm better than Eddie Van Halen. And at some standpoints, he was right. It's like there's never going to be another Tom Morello. There's never going to be another Hendrix. There's never going to be another Eddie Van Halen. It's all just these guys that, like Abram was saying earlier, just very experimental and very dedicated to finding something new, and which we're all trying to do.
And it's not about it's not about how much skill you have. It's about how you apply it.
That's right. Look at my music.
No, I didn't mean that, like, but just looking at, like, say, on like a technical, like more on the, like, guitarist would know this more than anything, not your like everyday listener that just likes Eddie Van Halen, but like his tapping, since he was the pioneer of that, he's got his own thing for that. But now you have artists that are doing like these crazy two-hand tapping and playing the guitar like it's a piano and crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
which every artist is like slipping out of my mind. But like the modern kind of progressive guitar player all started though from Eddie Van Halen deciding what would happen instead of using a pick. I tapped my finger here and here and here,
Yeah.
and using both hands. And
No,
Like
yeah,
Mark
you're right.
Morton. Mark
Yeah.
Morton is an insane guitar player. Like when he did that song with Chester Bennington on his latest record. I don't know if you guys have heard it or heard of him at all, but it's like you just hear like I mean, I think I've said this 1,000 times is that music tells different kinds of stories. And especially like with Eddie Van Halen, it tells a story of just like the youth culture and movements in the 80s, and there are a lot of guys that try to emulate that sort of status now and they just can't. Like nobody has a monopoly on what is amazing right now. It's like you have the artists that are crushing the top charts, but at the same time, nobody thinks about those guys anymore. We talked about this on the last podcast. Abram, what did we find out? It's like what's the top Billboard charts? Like Bruno Mars is on there, Ed Sheeran,
Uptown Funk is like the number one, like
Yeah.
highest rated.
and nobody's talking about that guy.
Yeah.
Nobody. We're all talking about Eddie Van Halen.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Well, I mean, that's just because he just died. If he was still alive, there probably wouldn't like he's. But I'm not trying to. It's not sounding right, but you know what I mean.
No,
like,
I know what you're saying.
people
I
tend
do
to
too.
be people tend to be a little bit like glorified more once they die. But think about like Black Panther. Is anybody talking about that guy? I mean, he was an amazing human, and he was a great actor. But
I am.
there was like a flood. There's a flood of media that came in, and then 2 days later, everybody's like, "What's okay? Oh, here's the next thing."
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that, to be honest, man.
Me too. Well, and that's just how they try to play the game. It's like the weather for them. They're just like, oh yeah, it's sunny right now. Oh my god, it's raining.
Yeah.
No. It just flips the script.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Everybody in their own little
Yep.
niche of entertainment is gonna care more than anybody else when somebody in that area dies. But no, I do think there is a level of stardom that Eddie Van Halen has reached. The people who have had perhaps even more success. I can't imagine that Bruno Mars has had less success in his time as an artist than Eddie Van Halen has, to be honest. I mean, Eddie Van Halen perhaps may be more talented in a lot of ways, but Bruno Mars,
like every way you mean.
but Bruno Mars has had so much legitimate like success doing what he's done, whether you like it or not. That
I don't like it. I
yeah,
don't like it at all.
yeah,
I don't like it one bit.
I'm not a fan of it.
I think Eddie Van Halen also built a brand just from the stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like everybody, when you see the red, black, and white stripes, you automatically know what that is. Like, it gets a little ridiculous because he sold like shoes, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like napkins, like everything
Napkins?
possibly imaginable
Dude, my Eddie Van Halen
can have
napkin,
red,
bro.
black, and white. Yeah. I was tempted to buy his shoes though. I was like, how cool would it be to have?
Yeah, I was tempted to buy his guitar
my-
until I
my-
realized it was
my-
$14,000. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, like the Frankenstein
Yeah.
that limited release they did is like $3,000 or something like that, and even like the
Do
standard
you have
EVH
shoes
model.
like these?
Oh my gosh.
Oh god. Even like the standard models. Oh god. Even like the standard model is like $1,000 or something like that. But my point I was trying to make is so like Eddie Van Halen inspired an artist like Nuno Bettencourt who's a guitarist who plays in Extreme, which is another kind of 80s hair metal, but it's more in like 90s, early 90s their stuff.
Mhm.
And Nuno Bettencourt inspired a guitar player like Rabia Massad, who is a YouTube guitarist and absolutely inspires me. So it's kind of like a chain. But at the same time, EVH, Eddie Van Halen, was the reason I even wanted to play electric guitar. I like tried to play. I remember just hours and hours trying to do the Eruption solo, like until my fingers bled, and my mom was calling me for dinner, and like just like a couple more hours, mom. I'm trying to play this solo. That was like what inspired me to be who I am today. As far as a musician goes.
Yeah. I feel like we should probably point out that it might be a little bit of a weird connection for us to have just a friend of ours who reviews beer on the show, but he's also a pretty accomplished musician who plays in a band called Disquiet. So,
Not too sure about that comment.
but yeah.
Yes, he's
Thank
very
you, sir.
accomplished. Absolutely fantastic addition to the team.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Who did Sam? Who inspired you to play guitar? Going off on a little bit of a detour.
There's a number of them. I mean,
Oh, come on. You know the main guy. Come on, Abram.
No,
you know the main guy.
Yeah, that's
there's
right.
a lot. There's a lot. You guys got to remember something. I've been listening to music for a very long time.
I'm 57 years old, right?
This comes from an avenue of like, I mean, a lot of times. I'm not gonna lie to you. I started listening to AC/DC and all that hard rock and roll when I was really, really young. I used to work with my dad for like 5 years straight. We did straight line ceramic tile. He was a tile guy before he got hit by a car. I helped him out a lot.
Oh
I
my
was an
God.
apprentice, and we would just sit in the van, and all I remember is listening to hard rock and roll, just Zeppelin, Van Halen, AC/DC, the Stones. It's just all these guys that were really the pillars of what would start me on the path to loving punk rock music. But I mean, I would say, I think we've done this on my podcast before. Me and Abram and Caleb Murray, we went down the list of like the top 5, I think, of the guys that we love. But I mean, I love the solos and I love the experimental stuff. But I also love the simplicity of just finding your own style of playing. Like I've modeled myself off of, obviously a lot of 90s punk guys, but also trying to make the sound as big as possible just with 3 players. So finding a riff that sounds, more explosive than it possibly is kind of what I pride myself on doing when I write a song. But it doesn't always happen that way. And I also was an acoustic artist for a long time. But I would say if I had to pick one person, it's hard, man. It's not easy. But
I've never heard of that guy before. It's hard.
I really tried with you. I really, really tried.
No, you didn't.
I think, but to be honest, man, not to like answer for you, but
Oh, go ahead, plein answer for me,
Tom
Cal. I know you're ready.
no, look, I'm not even gonna make fun of you, but I know like what's influenced you most as a person is definitely Tom DeLonge. You can just tell.
I mean,
You listen to Sam Clapp's playing, and it's a mix for sure, but I can just tell that it's there, and that's not a bad thing, Like, it's just who you are.
one of my favorite players, and I'm going to set the record straight right here, right now, okay? Brian May is one of the most underrated guitar players of all time. And is
For sure.
Probably
Definitely.
is probably my top 5 at least. Probably even my top 3. Because just like the way that he can switch from just ripping a mean face-melting solo and just goes back into the song like it's like ham and cheese. I mean, it's like everything just mixes together perfectly. The guy emulates songwriting like at its best. It's just like if you listen to it on a recorded version, you'll go into a song and then you'll do another track for the solo. Brian May can do the solo and then jump back into the regular riffs or like chords instantly. He's just savage. The guy just absolutely blows my mind. So he's probably my top 3 favorite. But yes, Tom DeLonge obviously is a huge influence on me as well because I like his style of playing, and that's how I learned to play too.
Yeah.
I'm totally made everybody digress, but
Any more questions, Director Fury? What about you there, Theodore Brown? What about your top person to emulate guitar
Are
playing?
you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
The reason.
yes, because his name is Theodore Brown.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
The reason I wanted to start playing guitar was because of my dad, and his taste in music. He used to play guitar all the time.
That's
But
really nice.
As for people that he turned me on to listen to, after a certain time of like not really being involved in listening to music at all, he started telling me about the music he used to listen to and the music he tried to learn.
Bette Midler.
Yeah. Yep. It was Bette Midler. Just shredding on a Steve Vai guitar. Yeah, it's Bette Midler. No,
Sorry.
it was
I didn't mean to go there. I
It's fine.
apologize.
No, that's cool. What was I gonna say? So for him, by the time that I was really getting into listening to music, he was a lot more interested in sort of acoustic and blues. So when we started listening to music, it was a lot of Eric Clapton Unplugged and Joe Bonamassa Unplugged. But when he was learning guitar, it was Joe Walsh and Glenn Frey from the Eagles area, like time period. All those old Eagles songs, especially Hotel California. I'd never heard a 12-string guitar before until he played Hotel California, and it was this unbelievable sound I'd never heard before. Stevie Ray Vaughan, of course, was like probably the biggest like pure talent on guitar out of anyone he listened to. But later on, like if we're talking about like my favorite guitarist, it's probably got to be Sonny Landreth, which is a little bit of a
I
weird,
forgot about him.
obscure-ish pick. But Sonny Landreth is a slide guitarist.
He's killer, dude. I saw him live.
Yeah.
He ripped my ears off. His amps ripped my ears off. I'm pretty sure they bled at the end of the night. But
Sonny Landreth
it was like this tiny little.
Yeah.
It was this tiny little room in downtown Providence, Rhode Island, and it was great, man. Yeah, he's definitely underrated for sure.
Yeah. So Sonny Landreth is probably my favorite just because of his like insane. He's like this, like older age, middle-aged dude with a Strat and a slide, but he is insane with the guitar. And then probably David Gilmour is up there too. I think Pink Floyd's guitar solos are not underrated, but when you talk about like greatest guitar pieces of music of all time, people go Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California, but songs from Wish You Were Here and solos from The Wall, solos from Animals and Dark Side of the Moon, like they're just the creativity and the kind of music that it is in this very weird space that he inhabits of like a melancholy, but just this like unbelievable way of playing. And the way just the notes that he picks to play are, yeah, to me, like top two. Hard to choose between them.
When I was younger, I went to go see James Taylor. This had to be 2012. That's probably one of the first concerts I actually ever went to be honest. And he played for like 2.5, 3 hours at Tanglewood. Okay. And I had the hookup, so I was up front. This guy, I'm not even joking, you guys. He played for that amount of time with no guitar pick in his hand. James Taylor is straight up amazing human being to just stand there with nothing. Could you imagine not playing? Could you imagine just standing up there playing a show with no guitar pick? I can't.
For 3
I couldn't
hours.
do it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Like there's certain people that just their fingers have just been like razor sharp to the bone when it comes to developing a certain familiarity with their instrument. Like him, Richie Valens, who wrote La Bamba. I mean, like there's all these guys like Chuck Berry. They just have a certain style, and it's like we were saying before. Everyone emulates their influences in life. Like, so I think a lot of my songwriting, and I hope a lot of people's songwriting is just what they learn in experiences, and that can definitely show through on guitars.
We've got a comment here.
What's the comment?
The comment is, I mean this with all love, but I swear when Sam talks about music he used to listen to, and if I couldn't see him, I would think he's like 53.
Okay.
Who is that?
Sam Thompson.
Okay. You know what?
Oh,
I've had enough.
boy. Oh,
I've had enough. I've had enough of your little stupid trick-or-treat comments. Okay? If you don't like what I'm saying, you go listen to another podcast. Nobody's forcing you. Nobody wants to hold your hand. Nobody cares about your little tremendous chef stuff that you do. Why don't you take your little knives and spatulas and get out of here?
I'm putting a kibosh on that. His food is too
Nobody's
good.
talking to you. Nobody asked you any questions.
Nah,
Get
his
out of
food
here.
is too good to me, man. I'm telling you, dude.
If I want to go to eat
It
some
looks
good food,
good.
I'll go to Olive Garden,
Dude,
okay?
it is.
That's
Not
all I
to
wanna go
take
to.
take a detour away from music over
Nope.
here, but this
Look.
kid made
Why would you
tiramisu,
trigger me like that?
pork with pancetta. Dude, this man made a meal
I
that
would-
was so good. So good.
I would go to Sam Thompson's house over Olive Garden any day. So there you go, dude.
You don't even
I haven't
know
even
who
tasted
he
your
is.
food.
Yes, he does.
I do. Get out of here.
You don't know how many gangs he's been involved in before he went to cook food. You have no idea. You have no idea.
I don't care. I don't care.
You
Does
don't
this
care.
food taste good?
Absolutely.
Nice. Nice. Well, when you're sitting at the table.
Anyways,
Never mind.
Van
I can't say
Halen.
that. I can't say that.
Van Halen.
when I'm sitting at the table with Van Halen,
Okay.
what makes you think that you're any better, Sam Clapp?
I've been around the block once or twice.
Sam Clapp cooks eggs out in a skillet in the woods, and he calls it Michelin star food.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. it's a trailer park mentality.
Oh my gosh. I did say that. That's true.
The trajectory of the trailer park mentality.
My
I mean, you're
God.
not wrong. I did say those things.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
gosh,
owning up to it.
these poor people that are gonna watch the podcast, they're gonna be so confused. They're like, "What is happening right now?"
Look. Attention, all people. If
Look.
you want to know
Here's the deal.
everything about if you want to know everything about Sam Clapp, just listen to his podcasts. It'll be like he's your best friend, except he won't know who you are. But he confesses so much on that podcast, dude. I've listened to every episode. I feel like Sam Clapp's my best friend, and we've only hung out a few times in person.
Sam Clapp.
Besides vet shows. Like
What
we've
do you-
seen a lot of each other at shows, but
What are you doing right now, Abram Jones? Are you rolling a doobie or something? What's
it looks up.
happening?
It's just a piece of paper. Come
That's
on,
what
man.
it looks like.
Are you allowed
Bro,
to
it
roll
looks
doobies
like
on
you
this
were
show?
rolling it up.
Yeah, my sticky note rolling papers. Yeah. No.
That's
man.
a sticky
That's
situation
some
right
extra
there.
flavor.
My gosh. Those are
Can we
good.
can we get back
Yeah.
to topic,
I
sir?
feel like okay. I feel sad to say I don't have a ton more time to do this, but
Abram has a life. He has
Yeah,
things to do.
I was gonna say I gotta hop off at like 8:30.
yeah. So I feel like we should just wrap things up a little bit by talking about like what
End on
personally,
a high note.
yeah, personally what you like about this album in particular. But if you also, Cal specifically, if you have other things you want to recommend from Van Halen as a band or him as an artist specifically, I feel like you should take the opportunity to do that too. But I guess first, like, what songs
Yeah.
do you guys like specifically off of this, like, the most?
I would say do yourself a favor and listen to it front to back. It's 30 minutes. It's not long. It flies by, and it's every single. There's not a lot of albums out there that you can say every single song is a banger, but every single song is a banger.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's so good.
100%. Cal's right.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. My top 3 songs on this record.
But I mean, if we're
Go ahead, Cal.
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Please.
Oh, I was just gonna say if we're gonna do specifics, um, House of Pain, in this order, like 1, 2, 3. Like top one is definitely okay. So I did that backwards. 1, Hot for Teacher. 2, Panama. 3, House of Pain for me.
Yeah. If I had to do my top 3, it would definitely be Hot for Teacher, Panama, and 1984.
I'll wait. Okay, I like Panama the most.
Wait.
But, what's that? Sorry?
Wait, the like what the 1 minute song? That's your favorite on on the album?
Yep.
The intro? Really?
Mhm.
Oh, all right. Sorry, Abram. I was like,
No, it's all
that threw
good.
me.
It's all good.
Oh, I'm sorry that I annoyed you with my likes and dislikes.
Did I say that you annoyed me? I just said it threw me. I was
That's it, Cal. That's it.
surprised.
Don't question me. I've been around. I lost my pen.
Whatever. Let's hear what Abram has to say.
I like Panama the most, personally. I really like Panama the most. I'll Wait and House of Pain are probably my top 3. Also, I wrote, so it's fact, 1984. You can't see that. 1984 is the worst song on the album.
Really?
So there you go, Sam.
Oh, for you.
No, I'm just being a jerk. I'm just being the antagonist.
It's out of the whole album. Like we had just talked about how they didn't do like interludes and stuff. That's the interlude.
Yeah, yeah.
Jumps into that jumps into the jumps into jump. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
in conclusion, yeah, it's a good
I
one.
would say.
And yeah, what
I would
else
say
would you recommend?
if there was another Van Halen record, I would recommend this one.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
5150. It also was the start of the most amazing metal amp that is no longer, at least the way it was. It's the PV 5150, the first version and the second version. Both amazing if you're looking for like metal tones, if you can still find them. I've gotten the opportunity to play through them. I should have bought it when I had the chance, but I didn't. And then PV did kind of their own thing with the 6505. It's good. It's not the same. Like the 5150 was Eddie Van Halen's collab with PV. That was like his signature amp, I'm pretty sure. And then he went off and took his brand and did his own thing with 5150 amps. And then PV did the 6505. But anyways, that was me nerding out for a second.
I think we should say that next week we will be doing probably Stadium Arcadium, I'd say, right, Abram? Have we decided on that as of yet?
Is my crinkling like covering the whole entire audio? I'm sorry.
I think Abram's talking to somebody.
Uh,
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are going to be doing Stadium Arcadium for the next show. Tune in either next week or the week after for that. And we're going to be trying to do Music Mondays regularly. So
We always say that.
we always
you know
say
what
that.
album you should do is this one.
Nope, you already made one suggestion, Cal. We don't take any more.
That's a good album. I agree. That's a good album.
Or here's my final note.
Here we go.
Best. You probably don't even know what this is.
What does that even say on
It
it?
doesn't really say clearly. it's Tosca's album.
Oh, you were telling me about those guys last weekend.
Yeah, Sam sounds super
Anyways.
interested.
Me and Abram have already decided what we're going to do with our podcast. We usually chit chat with each other and then make a decision based on
You
the
can
council.
do whatever you want. I was just throwing it out there. If you ever decide that you want to try something else,
I'm open to
you
everything.
got 2 good suggestions.
Clap is really the guy that doesn't like anything all that much, you know what I'm saying?
That's not true.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I enjoyed talking about this. We hopefully will continue doing it more
Me
regularly.
too.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. Oh, my word. So what a loss to the music world.
Go listen to his music.
The other thing is Wolf Van Halen is, I'm sure this kind of set him back, obviously, but I think in the future he is coming out with music, and I'm interested to see what he. Who those who don't know, that's Eddie Van Halen's son, who like, just judging from an outside perspective, they had a really close relationship.
Mm.
So I'm assuming his dad's music influenced him a lot. It sounded more progressive and like new age metal-y, the little clips that he's posted. He doesn't have anything out yet, but I'm interested to see what he does and how his dad influenced his writing.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at John Bonham's son, his name's John too, isn't it?
I'm not familiar with it.
Is he a junior?
I can't remember.
John Bonham's son, anyway, they also toured with Sammy Hagar and the bassist for Van Halen, which I'm blanking on his name at the moment. The original bassist for Van Halen. They have a project called Sammy Hagar and the Circle, which is a very interesting project.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in the middle of something.
Yeah.
No, I agree with all of it. Yeah.
Let's wrap this up, bro.
Yeah. So in short, go listen to this. It's all good.
Plugs, y'all. Plugs. Let's go. What are you plugging?
I don't have anything to plug at all.
That ain't true. Stop lying to yourself.
I don't have anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, one thing I need to mention right now. This man, Abram Jones, says, I think I'm done recording for a while. Beep, 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 beep. He just announced an entire flipping album on Instagram yesterday. Like, you're a liar.
He did? I didn't see that.
Talk about it. Say one little thing about it right now.
It's called Alabaster. It should be out the 31st. It is 9 songs, just like Van Halen. It's not as good as Van Halen's 1984. It's got, I don't know how long it is exactly. It's not very long. I would tell you that I don't know of the quality, but it's what I like the most out of what I've made. It'll be available hopefully on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, anywhere you go listen to your music. On Spotify and Apple Music, it should be free, and on Bandcamp, you get an opportunity to go listen to it for free for a couple times before you have to purchase it. You don't need to feel the need to purchase it at all. Also, what's more important, go hit up the artist who made the album. Not the album, but the album artwork. Her name is August. And I will look for her right now while somebody else does something. Plug something.
we would also like to plug Disquiet Songs into this show. Go check out their music. Go check out the Brews Roundtable podcast. Also, Cal runs that, and
Yes, sir.
also go check out Abram Jones' music.
No.
And all of his albums are also on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and Momoville and Tarzan Land and any trick or treat platform you want to find it
It's
on.
unimportant.
It's there.
Here's the @ it is AWGZ underscore @ AWGZ underscore on Instagram. August, she's in Jacksonville, Florida, but she also takes photos and can do stuff online. And
Wow.
she's my favorite photographer. Her stuff is very, very pretty. Very good.
Nice.
All right.
And
Do we have anything else?
yes, if you get a chance, go listen to a very unpopular podcast called the Why Are You Laughing podcast. It is on Instagram. It has links in bio at Y_R_U Laughing Podcast. And go check out some hot trash, as Cal likes to call it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, come on. I said that once, and then I took it back.
cut me deep, bro.
Okay.
Look. What I will always say is, if you want to listen to a great cast with some random guests that talk about actually some pretty interesting stories, except for the ones I'm in, go listen to Sam's podcast. You will definitely thank yourself later.
Yeah.
Much love, guys.
All right.
It's been fun.
Unless you're Corey Reynolds.
Yeah, right. Trick or treat.
God, we had to get that in there.
Old timer.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh, man.
We will see y'all in the next one. All right.
Later.